Hey there, it's Nathalie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back, and I am so glad you're here. I've been over on TikTok for a little minute. I've been doing some videos, some cooking videos over there. Anyway, I saw, now you know. Anyway, I saw Josephine Dodd Red Cammon, and she had made these cup towels. Hers were solid and had fabric. And then I went to Dollar Tree, saw these, so I was really inspired. And so I decided to do, this is made from one Dollar Tree cup towel, $1.25. What cute gifts would that make? Anyway, hey, I'll see you at the cutting table, and while you're waiting on me to get to the cutting table, be sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. For this little cute hanging cup towel, I used one Dollar Tree cup towel, but you could get, if you want to do different words, you could actually use two different cup towels if you want to. So I just cut it in half. And I didn't really measure about where the halfway, it was like the halfway mark that was already there. And then I measured down 6 inches for my first cut line. And you can mark it with a pen or with straight pins. I marked mine with straight pins. Don't cut into the pins. The second section was marked at 5.5. And I cut that off. And then I'm going to even that up and then put right sides or pretty sides together and do a straight stitch. I'm going to go to my machine. There's the straight stitch. And then I'm going to use a big safety pin to turn this right side out. This is the easiest way for me to do that. It's a little thick and it might take just a minute or two, but it's not going to be bad. So once I get that turned and kind of straightened out, now my plain side, not the dark stripe side, my plain side is going to be my right side, or the side that's going to be visible when my cup towel is hanging on my oven handle. So that's the wrong side. This is going to be the right side, and I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do an edge stitch, not edge stitch, top stitch, about a presser foot width wide. And so there it is laying on the side where I've done that. And I'm going to take the rest of the cup towel, and I'm going to even up the letterings, not the towel, but I want to make sure that the lettering is even. And so if you've got a different word, kind of try to eyeball it and make sure that it looks balanced, not kind of wonky, unless you want it wonky. So I'm going to pin these two little sides. That's going to mark where my cup towel is going to go. And then make sure that you put that, what would be the wrong side, like this is the dark side. It's not going to show on whenever it's hanging in place. And so I'm going to measure, because this is not exactly even, I'm going to measure in where I have that pinned at the bottom. I'm going to measure that in, and then I'm going to mark a place on my handle, on the band, not the handle, the band. I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to go to the sewing machine, do a little straight stitch, and then I'm going to cut that about maybe a little over 1/4 of an inch after it's stitched. And see there, it's stitched on the edges, and then I've already trimmed it. And I'm going to put the bottom of my cup towel in place, pin it in place, go back to the sewing machine. I'm using a 1/4 of an inch seam, not quite a 1/2 inch seam. It could be 3/8, but just a little, presser foot width. There it is. Now I'm going to fold this in. I'm going to catch the end of that band, make sure that that I've caught that so that raw edge is not going to show, and I'll probably try to stitch into that same seam that I just left there. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a seam allowance right down here at the bottom, just again about a presser foot width. Do the same on the other side, kind of line things up, make it sure it's straight-ish. And again, a little bit of a seam allowance down there. So it's back and forth, from the cutting board to the sewing machine. And that end, I'm going to stitch down those two sides, right and left. And then I'm going to come back. There it is all stitched. And now I'm going to stitch the top of it, but I want to make sure that I don't catch that band in my stitching. So I'm going to put a little pin in there, move that out of the way, pin that in place, and then I'm going to be careful at the sewing machine that I don't catch that little band. Okay, and so I'm actually going to start at the corners, go up a little bit, and then across, and then down just a little bit, not the whole length of it. That way I can clip those corners without catching the main sewing threads. So there, clip, get that little fullness out of there. And then on the bottom, now we're ready to do the bottom section. I'm going to fold that towel up and tuck it inside. Again, the same thing like the band. Get it in there, make sure you're not going to catch it someplace in the seam, and then fold that little towel edges back down in, smooth them out, pin them in place, and then go back to the sewing machine, and we're going to do I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to start a little bit down and then come all the way across and then down on the other side. So, maybe about an inch down and then across and then an inch down. All right. That way I can still have it where I can clip my corners and get that fullness out. There we go, clip the corners, and then I'm going to turn this thing right side out. It's almost finished. This is a pretty quick project. Once you get the basics down, you could put together a whole bunch of these. These would make wonderful Christmas presents, or wedding shower gifts, something like that. And so there's the little band, and it's showing, that dark strip is showing on the front, but it actually folds to the back to put this in place. So I'm going to do one more set of stitching on here. I want to go all the way around the front square, and I want to be careful that I don't catch that band in any of my stitching. Keep it out of the way and just do a little top stitch all the way around. All right, got that? There it is. And then I'm going to flip that over. That's the way that you put it together, like that. That's the way it's going to look. So we're going to pretend like this long ruler is your, and you can either stitch that together, hand stitch it, or, leave it like it is, or maybe put a little wonder under or something like that. But we're going to pretend like that ruler is the oven handle. And it's really not going to cooperate very good, but it'll show you how this goes together. And it goes together a lot easier on your oven than on this silly, flimsy ruler. So I'm just going to kind of work that in where that band sits right beneath that top believe. I mean, you could put a dream cup towel on here, or imagine, or you could use a piece of fabric or something like this. I just thought this was really, really a cute idea, and I just loved working on this project. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll make some of these. They're really super easy. Thank you, Josephine, for the inspiration, and check this out. And then be sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.